Let's also hit the button on YouTube. I see Twitch is changing already. Yeah, looks like we're live on Twitch, and in a few we should also be live on YouTube. Yep, there it is. Good evening, everybody. A bit earlier than the last few days, but yeah, the kids were sick today and it's this weekend, so I don't have to put them to bed at a given time. Hey Marty, welcome. Yeah, so I figured let's stream a bit earlier and see how it goes. Maybe I can go to bed early as well. I was working on some visualizations and I refactored some code as well today, so I can show you that in a bit. But I need to make sure that I don't show off any hidden stuff. Let me see if I can just do a screen capture like that. That should be fine. And then I go to this desktop and then I click here. Yeah. So like I made a console app and the Twitch flow is really weird. So I made like a Twitch app and I registered some code so that I can do stuff, but you have to go through so many hoops to even get to this point. So that's, I was like, okay, maybe I can write a little Twitch overlay and have some fun. So I sometimes have trouble remembering names, especially when the chat name doesn't match the actual name. So I was like, maybe I can have something where instead of Luke Lightning, I can just say Luke, and that says K and stuff like that, so that I can just have more friendly names mapped based on who writes, but also just do stuff like have my own overlay here and maybe custom avatars for people, stuff like that. I like to code stuff, so I was like, okay, maybe this is cool. So now I have a WebSocket client that can receive chat messages that happen on Twitch. So maybe I need to also hook up like Discord and YouTube and have like a cross thing that I can send out the chats to everywhere. Yeah, that's just something that I looked at. Might be fun to do, but not today. Hey Nineberry, welcome. So yeah, before we do day 13, I figured I'll go back to show you what I've done for day 12. I changed my testing input here. Since there were more tests for part 2, I figured let's have a way to just do multiple tests. So now I have a test input with a P1 and P2 value that it expects. Let's see, and Marty says, why not today? You never know, sleeping is overrated anyway. Yeah, let's see. So yeah, I did this to have more tests. I still have the P1 answer and P2 answer there. And then I refactored the code, so now the whole day is just this block, where everything is just hidden behind helper code. So I have a toGrid function, because what I always used to do is like, okay, I do the input dot toLines, where I get like an array of strings, which I can then use as a sort of two-dimensional lookup for a grid, right? And then I do like a new grid, and based off of the dimensions of those values, you initialize that grid. So I just made a small helper that just hides those two away. Like you do two lines, and then you initialize a new grid, and you return them combined. Then I have the flood fill helper. I was like, okay, this might come in handy more than once. So this will just try to map everything like it does here. Like you start at one point, it flood fills. When it finds something else, it will add a new tracking character. So that might be useful. Another time, I might need to have an overload where I specify where it should start for special cases, etc. And that maybe should only do one and not ignore and not go to the other ones. But at least I put it into a helper code so that it's easier to reuse and alter for the future. And I have lots of overloads or lots of default options here, like to do the visualizations, and I'll show you in a bit. So I have a visualize option, and if it should auto start, I'll wait for a return before it shows. I had like a stepping, like a sleep in milliseconds to see the thing actually work, but the smallest number you can set there still has quite a bit of delay. So I also wrote a small helper that just writes to the corner of the console window a few times so that it takes up more time, so that you have more granular control over how fast the animation shows. You can specify which colors to use, and I have a default that it sets there. Then basically once it mapped all those areas, it loops through them, and I have a get perimeter function here, which is basically it uses some of the helper code here. So I have like missing neighbor count and neighbor count functions. So this is where not the other one matches the same. So you have a single grid location, you can pass it in a hash set of grid locations, and then you can test like the surrounding locations if it exists. And actually, now that I think of it, I have a dir dot direct neighbors. So what I can do is for each var the in dir dot direct neighbors, and then I can do if this plus d, which is like the up logic here, basically returns this plus up. So it's the same logic. So instead of doing this hard coded every time, I can just do it like this. And you could probably do like and you can turn this into a one-liner, I think. So dot select it gets a bit messy here. Hey Smap, welcome. So let's not refactor too much, but yeah, it's fine. Basically here it's the same. Instead of the not, you do this. Like this. Boom. So this one is the not, the missing neighbor count, and the normal neighbor count. So that is the helper get perimeter. And then I also put like the edge finding logic in a separate helper, and then the code is just like this, small and easy. And I noticed that I wrote perimeter wrong everywhere. Like this E was an I, so I had to change that in like 100 places. But yeah, English is not my first language, so it's to be expected that there are some stupid mistakes like that. But yeah. So yeah, that's the refactored code. Let's show off the visualization now. I can make it a bit slower, so I can do animate speed. I can do it 10 and use write sleep false. So now it's really slow. So you get this, bloop. As you can see, the flood fill in action. I thought it was pretty fun. For the big one, I need to zoom out because I don't have a protection to not go outside of out of bounds. So yeah, let me go to day 12 and let's disable the test, but still visualize. I think. Yeah, I still have it on, so I can make that one also a bit slower. And let's just disable test for now. False. And now I need to zoom out a lot. Otherwise it will get... So this is the slow way of doing it. But it's just fun to look at. The only issue is I position these dynamically based on the bottom edge, so now you have some text in the middle of the screen. So yeah, and if I make it really fast, just remove this. Let's Let's make it small, and now it will run fast. So this, I have like a 50 millisecond pause after each thing is mapped, so it can complete like instant even with visualization, but at least that way you can see it appear somewhat real time, somewhat in steps, so that you can process it a bit visually. So yeah, I thought that was fun because Kay asked a lot of questions yesterday for how the code works. I was like, okay, this will be a nice way to show it visually. And I didn't make sure to reset the text color to white for the bottom print, so you see it flashing in the colors there. So yeah, it was fun, just a little visualizer. So yeah, I still saw quite a bit of chat in the Show Off Your Stuff Discord channel, so I assume there's a tricky day ahead. The kids were sick today, so I spent a bit of time at home, and I'm also starting to feel like I might be coming down with something. So I was like, okay, let's stream a little bit earlier today so that I can hopefully get some rest early. So yeah, I think we'll just start. Amarte asked, does it use console.write or buffers? It just uses write, but wait, I can show you here. So I set up regions where the visualization code is, like here. It just sets the location for the stuff. So you get set cursor position, and then you just write. And for like the bottom text, I think it was here. Yeah. So I just to clear, you can also just write spaces. So I just do the window width dot times 2 is how I pad out the line. So if it's in this case, it will show like 2 lines of status code, and once it's done, I use this to erase that as well. So it's fairly easy. So you just set the cursor position and just overwrite it, and C# takes care of the rest. So that's really nice. Let's see. Nice to see that console is definitely. Yeah, it didn't used to be, like way back when, if you were writing console apps and you had like console.write lines, usually that still limits the execution speed of your program. So if you had too many write lines, like the execution speed of your program would come down by a lot. So it's still a very limiting factor, but it's fast enough that you can do lots of fun animation stuff. Like the short that I created last year with like that path tracing as well. That was also just simple console writing. So yeah. So yeah, I guess we should do day 13. Claw Contraption. Next up, the lobby of a resort on the tropical island. The historians take a moment to admire the hexagonal floor tiles before spreading out. Fortunately, it looks like the resort has a new arcade. Maybe you can win some prizes from the claw machine. The claw machines here are a little unusual. Instead of a joystick or directional buttons to control the claw, these machines have 2 buttons labeled A and B. Worse, you can't just put a token in and play. It costs 3 tokens to push the A button and 1 token to push the B button. With a little experimentation, you figure out that each machine's buttons are configured to move the claw a specific amount to the right along the x-axis and a specific amount forward along the y-axis each time that button is pressed. Each machine contains 1 prize. To win the prize, the claw must be positioned exactly above the prize on both the x and y axes. You wonder, what is the smallest number of tokens you would have to spend to win as many prizes as possible? You assemble a list of every machine's button behavior and prize location, your puzzle input. For example, okay. A, B, prize, X, Y, okay. This list describes the button configuration and prize location for 4 different claw machines. For now, consider just the first claw machine in the list. Okay. Pushing the machine's A button would move the claw 94 units along the x-axis and 34 units along the y-axis. Pushing the B button would move the claw 22 units along the XY axis and 67 units along the Y axis. The prize is located at X is 8400 and Y is 5400. This means that from the claw's initial position it would need to move exactly that many units along the X axis and Y axis to be perfectly aligned with the prize in this machine. The cheapest way to win the prize is by pushing the A button 80 times and the B button 40 times. This would line up the claw along the x-axis because lots of things are flashing through my head already. But yeah. And along the y-axis because blah blah blah. Doing this would cost 80 times 3 tokens for the A presses and 40 times 1 for the B presses, a total of 280 tokens. For the second and fourth claw machines, there's no combination of A and B presses that will ever win a prize. Okay, but we should ignore those anyways, right? Ha. So the trick for part 2 is already hidden in here to give you a headache, probably. Let's see. For the third claw machine, the cheapest way to win the prize is by pushing the A button 38 times and the B button 86 times. Doing this would cost a total of 200 tokens. So the most prizes you could possibly win is 2. The minimum tokens you would have to spend to win all 2 prizes is 480. You estimate that each button would need to be pressed no more than 100 times to win the prize. How would someone be expected to play? Okay, so that is a nice way to cap out there. Figure out how to win as many prizes as possible. What is the fewest tokens you would have to spend to win all the possible prizes? Okay, so that's a bit confusing. So first they say, just look at the first one, ignore the others. Then they say you can only win this one and this one. And then they say how many is it to win all possible prizes. So in the rest of the code, everyone is possible, or? That's interesting. So a few things going through my head. First, it requires like a priority queue because you need to have the lowest amount. Second, there's probably a way of factoring these so that you know you have like this, and a combination of those both to see if you can actually arrive at that destination. But probably also the relation between the two. I'm not sure. There's probably like a trick to determine if you can get there at all. And they help us out that there is no more than 100 presses of each. So I wonder if this is just a red herring or that it's just a cap to do that. But yeah, we'll find out when we start to do some coding. Let's see, day 13. So far, quite a bit of red flags already. And I think I will copy this test input case here because that works for me because there's multiple here. And I wonder if I should do them individually or not, but that is fine. For now, let me just make sure this is -1 because we don't know yet. And I'm in day 13, that is correct. Okay, let's remove the rest for now. What were the answers? 280 and 240. No, wait, the third claw machine. Yeah, okay, the combination of the two. So the combination of the two is 280 plus 200. Let me just put it in like that. 280 plus 0 plus 200 plus 0. Right, just as a reminder of how this should work. Need to work on parsing that. Let's see. We have a button cap, so we can do button cap is 100. Now I need to change the input check, like the result checking there as well. Boom. Okay. Let's parse this stuff. So we do input dot two lines, and now split by, and then I can do didn't I have like double white space? Because this won't work for my own input here. Let me see how I handled that in the previous. Or maybe I should just already just make a different splitter. Did I say split empty? No, that's not it. Split. Oh, well, it would actually. No, that's fine. So I wonder if there's. So my way of handling that was just to make sure that I remove those. It's fine. It's fine. Close all but this. Close all other tabs. Okay. So actually I could just do it like this. That it would also already be split out, so that is fine. Because I find myself going back to that, so, and it's not that hard to write. It's just easier to lean on stuff that you've written before. But okay, so var machine configs is this. Then we need to also handle that. So this basically becomes select x dot two lines. And I might be making a monster here, so bear with me for a bit. So I have the sections here. So then what I can do is I can do an as. We just write it out so that I have it formatted like this. So now this would be a list of string A, string B, come on, B, string C, right? And I need to do this like a to array probably, right? Because this I knew string, yeah, like this. But now we want to further process these three lines. So the first thing means, and I want to make sure, do they reorder the A and B sometimes? That would be so evil. Let's just blindly, no, actually I can do it better. I can do it with a safeguard. So I can do dot split by, and then I do a like this, right? And then one dot split by like this, and then you have like these two parts in an array. But by now I wonder if it's just better to write it out. But as boom, 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 boom. So this one then becomes split. One single, and you would then do int.parse on this. It's such a monster. I'm terribly sorry. And I also need to make this y and not x, because x is already used. Actually, there's so many levels. This would also already have to become like y. And this is why I try to not do this usually, because it becomes so ugly. So yeah, I could wrap it around and make it a big one-liner, but it gets really, really bad. So let's not do that. Let's go back. And let's maybe write something that will just parse this out. So this is now a list of string arrays. So we have it in 3 parts. So we should probably do like, if I do const string x, y pattern, and let's leverage a regex here. So we can do x, and then we do either plus or equals, followed by d plus, so this one will be x, then we have a comma, white space, and then we have the same for y, and this one lets us match this, but also this. So this might be the cleanest way to do it. So we do static read-only regex xy. Regex is new regex y pattern. Regex options.compiled like this. So we can do. I could use a point. Why not? Point get xy. String raw, match m is yes, argument exception could not be parsed into an xy format. Boom. Raw. And then we do return new point, int.parse m.groups, name of point x, and let's make sure that it's uppercase there in a bit as well, value, and we do the same for the y. Make sure these are uppercase. boom. And ideally I would reference that as well there, but that's just not so easy to do. So let's just do it like this. So now we can actually do dot as. We do the as, but it's cleaner this time, right? We do y, y. And we do this 3 times. Like this. And now we have a specific type. And this one becomes button A, button B, prize, right? So let's make sure that our code works, and let's also use the new way of writing this, since I'm trying to get used to that anyways. So we can do for each var machine and machine configs. Should probably call it config, not machine. Config console.writeLine price at config.price. I can just do this. A B config.button B config.button A. So let's make sure that we run today. 13. Okay. So we can run this now, and it should spit out at least these parsed, unless we have an exception. No. I didn't set it to test input. But yeah, let's set it to test. And I think this is a fairly clean way to parse it out, right? Oh yeah, I'm not used to this yet. I changed the logic, so I need to have the test run logic here. My bad. So if test, we do this. I should probably also write a helper for that. Boom, 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 boom. So let's do static. Static. It doesn't need to be static, right? I can just do blah parse configs string raw. I can just actually just do this. Boom. Input, but this is for the real, the part 1 and part 2 logic. So now we can take care of this part, so we can do the same actually. I should probably make this global so that it's accessible everywhere, like this. I can just override it every time, which is fine. Like this. Why is it complaining? Can I use it before this declared? Did I break something? Not that I can tell. This is the constructor, right? So this one doesn't exist technically yet. Is it something else? No, can I use it declared? Ah, because I declared again here. My bad. My bad. Okay. I can just do it like this to just run it there. And I don't want to do this yet because I haven't even written the code. I just wanted to validate the parsing. Sheesh. Okay. It's still test is true. Let's see. Ah, I still do it here. And I need to uncomment this. Wait, did I restart? Am I crazy? Ah, yeah, because it's t.input. You can hardly tell that I switched to a new way of doing this. Okay, we're back. 8400, 5400, 94, 43, 22, 67, etc. Yeah, so this seems to work. So now we need to write the code that actually finds the best option. I also need to put down, I think, which one was 3? A costs 3 and B costs 1. So let's see. A cost is 3, B cost is 1. So now we need to have a priority queue, and I don't know if I imported that yet. Let's see. Priority queue. Ah, there's a new thing. I'm used to doing it differently, but let's give that a shot then. That will be this. But the state will be more complex because it's like this. And then we need to have int A, int B, int long sum. No, and this becomes like int x, int y. I think there were still all ints, right, in the input. There's no crazy numbers yet. Sure. And then the priority type is actually the total cost, which is also an int. So we have our queue. Boom. Let's do int A, int B. Solve. I can call it solve. That's fine. So now we have like the config here. Config, and maybe I should just make a record out of this, except that it won't let me map that, and let's not do it yet. I can refactor later. We solve, we pass in the config. Also just do it like this to make sure that I don't have to create a new object. So this is config. Actually, if the config is passed in the scope, I don't need it at all. So we just keep this. Why doesn't it like this? Can I? Yeah, okay. Okay. Let's see. And I assume it does the, let's see, NQ, try DQ, removes the minimal element. Yeah, okay. If you want to do it the other way, you can just make the numbers negative. But this should be fine. So now we do q.nq. So we do 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Boom. While q.count larger than that. Let me think. Basically, you do this. Var state is q.dq, and then we do state.a plus 1 state.b. State.x plus button config.button a.x. Actually, we do so let's have some int new x, new y. You need to make sure that we calculate those and check them before we adding to make sure that there's no additional overhead in like adding and dequeuing stuff that doesn't even need to go there. So new x becomes state plus x plus button.x. New y is state.y button a.y. And here we can do if new x is larger than config.price.x. Continue. Boom. Here we do new x, new y, and that should be it. And then this one becomes let me also track the sum, like int cost. Nope. Just because it's easier like this. So we do state.cost plus cost from A. Like this. Why doesn't it like this? I can make these ints so that the code doesn't trip out. Const int. Boom. Now we do the same for the other one. So we do button B. Plus 1. These, this becomes B cost and cost plus B cost. So ideally you'd make a function for these where you pass in like the X, Y and the cost and which one to increment, but it's fine like this for now. So this should give us, actually we need to check here if new x equals config.price.x and new y price.y found our winning config. And then it's actually the data that we push here is what we need to return. So then we need to return state.a plus 1 state.b. The same check needs to happen here, except that the plus ones need to be changed. GPUs, and okay, we have a moderation action here. Let me see. That's annoying. Let me see. Boom, boom, boom. Let's report for spam. Next. Spam. Next. It's fine. The spam. Damn. I have to jump through so many hoops. And I should probably also like delete. Okay. That was a lot of work. I should probably make some of you moderators to help. Okay, so this one will solve, and otherwise we return -1, -1. We also need to make sure that we don't queue it past our thing here. So we need to make sure that if state.a is smaller than cap, button cap, like this. So this one needs to be wrapped here. Otherwise, we don't need to do it. Same goes here. If state.b smaller than button cap, we can check smaller because we will increment it. So if we go over it, it's not good. So if it's already at the cap, we can't add more. Maybe there's a RAS for it. Yeah, I can probably make something that makes the moderation easier. So yeah, I think we checked everything here. So let's do the test solve. Let's see. Boom, 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 boom. The answer is solve, and now we do config. Console the right line. Oh. If answer that a larger equals 0, else, actually let's do the other way around, let's do smaller than 0. Console that right line could not solve this machine, sadly. Crying face emoji. Else console.write line solved by blah a blah times b with this. So we can do answer.a, answer.b, and then we can do answer.a times 3 cost plus answer b times b cost. I know this is just one, but it's a variable, so let's just treat it like that. So we can do int cost is this. Let's just do it like that. No, I need to do it properly. Cost. And then we do p1 plus equals cost, like this. And I should probably just put this here. Make sure to reset it. Dun, dun, dun. There was a bug there, so I should probably fix this here as well. Boom. And this becomes, where did the config from? Ah, yeah, like this. Okay. Sure. Let's see what this does. It gives me a build error. Cannot any. Ah, yeah, this was the old. Yeah. Never mind. And now I have an infinite loop. Where am I? Wow. Wow. Jesus Christ. That is interesting. Did I make a mistake? Because it will first try to do all the B's, right? So it will try 3 of these, and then it will try 1 of this. But wow, I didn't expect the queue to grow that big without even getting there. There's a lot of possible combinations. Yeah, that's for sure. Let's see if we can calculate like the distance traveled per button relative to its cost, and then so I'm like thinking that you have like an X and a Y cost, and then see which one you can do to get there the cheapest. But then there's also the factor that you need to make sure that you can get there at all. So that is interesting. This is more difficult than I thought at first. Let's see. X move cost A is config.button A.x divided by cost. You actually need to take both dimensions into account, but let me think. Y move cost A. B. No. Boom, the WebSocket is in invalid state. Okay. On my other desktop, my Twitch handler crashed. They usually have like an event that arrives where you can have to, what do you call it? Where they say you have to reconnect to a different endpoint. So that probably happened and I didn't handle that yet. So yeah, let's see. I was writing down the cost of everything just to get a feel for it. And let's not solve it for now. See, that solves all our problems, just not solve it. Dun, dun, dun. So here you can see that for the Y movement, it's cheapest to use A rather than B. But for the X movement, it's cheaper to use B. And I did it the other way around. Never mind. Wait. No, this is, no, I did it the wrong way. What you get is like the movement per token. This needs to be B. It's actually just 1-to-1 for the B ones, right? Sure. So higher is better here. So it's actually more economical to use this one for the X movement, but not for the Y. And if you add them combined, you get like the Manhattan's distance traveled. So this is like 42.6 for A, and this is 89. So like using B is more than twice, is more than 2 times more economical. The thing is, you need to end up at this location, so you also need to restrict yourself to combinations of these that let you end up there, which is also a factor. But I wonder if it makes sense to go like as far as you can with the one that's most economical. So that is B in all cases here. This one as well. This one too. So it looks like you need to use the most economical one as far as you can and then finish off with the other one. But there's also like the constraint of how you get there. And that feels like a math trick that you have to know, sadly, which I don't. Because you need to have like combinations of 94 and 22 where you can end up here. That's like at least a prerequisite. And then it's also limited by how many times you can use this, because that will overshoot it. So what I would say is like you can do 5400 divided by 76. You can do 80 times 76 is this. So then it would give you a rest of 40, but then you can't do this. So what you could do is just see, okay, how many times can I do the most economical one till you hit a limit, and then walk back to a number where you can use this one. Is something that I'm thinking now. So like you need to be able to divide by 37. So then you would just keep like minus 76 until you hit a number that is divisible by 37. So let me see if I can code that, just hard code that for now. So let's say, I'll just code it out here to see if it's a viable thing to do, right? So we do target is 5400. Int b is target math.floor target divided by 76 in this case. And why do I do double here? You need either decimal or double to be able to not do integer division. Actually, I could use integer division here because that's probably... let me just check it before I say something stupid. But and now we need to do while. So we do int rest is target. Int sum is b times 76. Rest is target minus sum. While rest mod, in this case it's 34. Then we do minus b, and now we do this whole rigmarole again. So let's see. I know this is not efficient, but I'm just testing my hypothesis. So this gives 80. So if I would do quick watch, this would also just truncate to 80, right? Yeah. So it's actually smarter if you want math.floor. You can just do integer division and it's fine. Boom, 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 boom. So now let's see if this works. Logong1 says, is this part 1? Yes, it is. Let's see. B is 74. So okay. So we found a way where B works. So we can use B times 74. And now we need to validate that it also works for the Y. So so the remainder is 442. So let's see. Int y is b times x is b times 22. Int remain is 8400. Oh yeah, that won't work in this case, right? Because we won't have enough, so that we need... Is it like the GCD problem kind of thing? We need to have like common divisors. So we have 84 minus x. So yeah, that is way too much. So we can't actually use 74. So looking at this, I'm wondering what is the easiest way, easiest constraint to satisfy. Because I figured, like, since this movement is the cheapest, you try to use the most of that, but that also you need to look like this factor. So the first constraint would be like having this one not exceed this one. Like solving one, as you can see, is okay, but then you have to solve the other, which is more of a pain. Wait. If you do 8400 divided by 5400, times 22. Does it make sense? I'm trying to see if there's a way that I can determine based off of these ratios which way I should favor, because if I just let it run wild, it goes kind of crazy. Maybe I need to start at like the max of those and then try to shift just Nineberry says, you didn't program what you said earlier. I don't understand why you use B as the coordinate target and 76. Well, what I was trying to do is see, like when I look at the value that you get for each token, using B is the most economical one. So you want to use B as much as possible. So I figured, okay, let's see how many times I can use B. And I looked at this one because this one will be the first limit that you hit. But the issue is then that this one is out of whack. So the value is kept at 100 for each button, by the way. Yeah, I know. I have like a solve function here that uses a priority queue that adheres to the button cap, but still that gives you a lot of combinations. Wait, I probably don't. I should probably. That's something that I forgot. I need to make sure that I don't queue up the same versions every time. Let's see, hash set int a int b tried it blah. We can do key is no. Var key is state.a plus 1 state.b. If not, try that contains key. And then we can do try dot add key. Because I might have been doing lots of double combinations there, which is a bad idea. Like this. So let's forget this for now. Let's see if I actually try to do the solve part, if it does a little bit more sense. Oh, boom. So yeah, I'm an idiot. Okay. 280, 200. Oh my god. Huh. So that was like a 40-minute detour for nothing. Okay. I'm an idiot. Sorry, guys. Oh, I wish somebody would have caught that. Okay. So yeah, let's run the real input. That was how my part 1 looked as well. Okay. Let's see. I need to do. I'm too asleep. Yeah, no worries. No judgment. I'm just like hitting myself over the head for being an idiot and not doing that properly. So let's do this. We override the machine configs, we loop through them. We actually don't care about this at all. And the answer is just this. So P1. Let's see if this is correct. Woohoo! Gold star. Christ. Amate says, and I'm still at my company doing some tasks. Excuses, yeah, no worries. Nyberry says, there will be a lot more hitting once you find out what actually to do. I did. No one hurt actually by hitting. Yeah, okay. Oh man. First half of the puzzle is complete. Woohoo! Let's record the expected value there. That was a test. Oh. I didn't even put it there. Okay, never mind. As you go to win the first prize, you discover that the claw is nowhere near where you expected it would be. Due to unit conversion error in your measurements, the position of every prize is actually blah. Okay. Blah, yeah. Okay. Which is fine. Everything is fine. P2 multiplier is this. Okay. Boom. I overcomplicated the out of part 1. I did Dijkstra instead of 2 for loop until 100. Yeah, I did a priority queue as well. So time for the problem we all knew was coming. Yeah. Dun, dun, dun. Add blah blah to the axes of every price. After making this change, the example above would look like this. Yes, so that also changes the math, which is annoying. But couldn't you find like the factor? Let me think. Because I think there's like a GCD solution to this. Now it's only possible to win a prize on the 2nd and 4th claw machines. Unfortunately, it will take many more than 100 presses to do so. Using the correct prize coordinates, figure out how to win as many prizes as possible. What is the fewest tokens you would have to spend to win all possible prizes? Okay. So the issue now is that we can't, like even with this optimization, and I need to solve the button cap here. So config, comma, int cap, yeah. No, actually, first, let me just make sure that I have a patch function to just alter it. So we do config dot var p is new point. Actually, var price is new point. Config dot price x plus offset. No. What did I call it? Multiplier. It's not a multiplier. It's an offset. And this becomes too big for... Let me think. Also, the old result doesn't even matter because like the things become invalid. Let me look back at the code, not that one. Let me look back at this. Somewhere there must be like a GCD thing here. And don't expect any magic because I have no clue what I'm doing. Let's see. Because like there's a greatest common divisor. GCF also. Greatest common factor, greatest common divisor. So if I plug all of these in, what do I get? So let's see, 8400, 9422. Yeah. Okay. I knew what I had to do when I read this problem, and yet I still wrote the naive way for part 1. Can I just quick watch this? Let's see. Two. Well, yeah, they are both divisible by 2. So that's not a great help, but at least it changes the amount of stepping. So what about 5400 and 34 and 76? That gives 1. Okay. So it's not in that spirit. Probably time to Google, like, how do you even prompt that? Like, how do you, because it's like constrained in 2 dimensions. This one is tricky. Because I was like, maybe there's a way to find like a factor once. Nairi says, I felt really stupid once the scales fell from my eyes after tinkering for 3 hours. Okay. I'm actually just thinking what happens if I still run it the way I wrote it. How far will I go? But I need to put the cap here in. Also, do these even fit into ints? To make sure that I do checked. Just in case. So yeah, let's do int button cap. I sort of knew the math for this. It's decades since I've needed it. Okay. I remember like there was a year where you needed Chinese remainder theorem, and I had to look that up because it was not. This doesn't ring any bells for me though. So yeah, but I assume this won't work. So what I can try, oh yeah, you can try it on the test inputs actually. It actually doesn't give you the test values for this one as well. Cheeky. Oh, because it's a long, sure. Long. Doesn't matter there. Because I still keep ends there, so it might not even work. Let me think. Oh yeah, it won't actually accept the point because the value is too big. Haha. So yeah. These all need to become longs, and I need to use something different than a point. Maybe write the whole problem math on a notepad and try to see if you can solve it. No, that won't work because there's no bells ringing for me right now, so I don't think that will do the trick for me. Because like that was the approach that I was taking for part 1. Like, okay, let's see how far you can go to try and figure out what is the optimal route to go there. Paint might just do it. Yeah, I don't think so. I guess you're overestimating my abilities here. Because like what I was trying with part 2 was trying to figure out, okay, there is a most economical way to use these, and from the math it was always B, like in just total Manhattan's distance traveled. But then it becomes a matter of figuring out how much of B you can actually use before you run out of limits there, but yeah. So no, I don't think I will be able to solve this without having to look stuff up. Because I just have like no way forward from here, which is annoying. Because even if I wanted to let my part A code run, I would have to rewrite everything to like a long point. I can do that right now, but it's just annoying. So I can do public record point long x long y. There's a bit clue in how he's named everything. Try to put the variable you already know, the variables you're trying to find. Yeah, I really like that you're trying to help, but it just doesn't ring any bells for me. So, I'm sorry guys. But let's try that I at least convert this to long so that it can do that. Want some more hints? Yeah. You can, but I'm not sure if it will do much. And don't have to say sorry. You're trying to help. It's just that I probably didn't have this in school or something. Caps and price question. How about you forget about caps and price question? Like, I know what I need to try and figure out. The only issue is that I don't know how to get there. Meaning you don't look for minimum price. Yeah, but that brings me back to like the greatest common divisor thing. Like, that will tell you how much, but that doesn't, since there's multiple variables, I don't know. My solution to point add using huge point is long. Yeah, I just did like this. Is that a thing? me see. Above the namespace. Yeah, like this. Ah, okay. Yeah, sure. It's kind of the same like having a record here. But yeah. You can name that X and Y as well. Yeah, true, because it will be a value tuple. And now this all needs to be long. So yeah. Not max. It doesn't really matter. I can just use max value because it will exit when it goes over already. Ninebear says, according to the memes on Reddit, a lot of people needed a long time to get the right idea, although it seems obvious once you know it. Yeah. A lot of things are probably not rocket science, but... this needed a new config dot price at x plus offset. And this one becomes so if I run this, I'm sure it, like the first one doesn't work, so that, wait, what? Why does it run so fast? Could not solve this, could not solve this. Smap says, I don't know if I did it the right way. I could shorten my code as well, but left it written out in full to remind me how I got there. So it actually did some things here, but it's not correct. Oh wait, I need to go back to the test. Wait, let's see. So it runs faster than I think, or you didn't add the big number. Yes, I did. It does it here. It just doesn't print it in the, so I should do var price is this, so that it does also print properly, price. So now, I can step through it to see if it does something weird. Oh wait, this is uppercase button cap. See, I need to reference the lowercase button cap. And now we will run into issues. So now we're at only 10,000, it's not that bad. But it's a long way from where it needs to be. But like my original idea was to try and find No, I think I will have to just stop it here and do some Googling, and because it's just not something that I'm familiar with on how to do. So this is one of the things, if you know, and you can do it, and if not, it can be a bit hard to figure out. Like the only train of thought that I had that might lead somewhere is that you try to figure out how to not take the full journey there and only do the last part. Yeah, but like you can give me all the hints you want. The thing is that there's just like no bells ringing, so I don't think that there's any hint out there that will make me fix it. But I never took algebra or complex math in school. I basically did high school, and then I've been like, everything I know I'm self-taught, so I have very little formal math knowledge. If we give you the first equation, I think you will follow up by yourself. I give it very low odds, but feel free. And this is like an issue that I run into from time to time, because basically since I was 12, I've been teaching myself coding. So like the things I know is all from wanting to do stuff that I couldn't figure out and figuring out how to do it. But that also means that there's like large gaps in my knowledge for somebody that was taught specific things, because there's like a different path that you take when you have to figure it all out yourself. Let's see, X price is count A. definitely not needed this in the last 40 years. Yeah. PAs, yeah. I'm sorry, but I don't even know how to understand. It's like I've done very complex things, but like reading formulas, etc., it just doesn't ring any bells. Like I've implemented latent semantic analysis from university papers by just figuring out how it works. But if I had to read all the the formula, etc., that just doesn't. It's not something I'm familiar with, sadly. Let's see. Bruce says AO times price 1 when AO. Its linear solving function for x will give you a line, and for y will give you another line. The two can intersect in one point only. Let's see. X price is known. It's 8400 for the first machine. Same with x a and b. Okay, let me just go back. Like when I read this is obvious because this is the answer. You're looking for which combination of the two results in that, but that doesn't help me in how to solve it. And I understand what Amate is saying. Like basically, if you plot that into a function, it will draw a line, and you have to find where they intersect. And that reminds me of like, was it like day 24, or day 25 from last year, where you had to have those lines in 3D space over time. That was also. Let's see. Yeah, I know this because, but you need to solve count A and count B, and the thing is that I don't know how to do it. That's just the issue. Because this is basically the problem statement, right? Find out how many of A and B you need to get to 8400. That I understand. The issue is that I don't know how to use this and turn it into something that calculates it. Try to isolate count A in the first equation and replace it in the second. And like basically the A says yeah, but I don't understand this part. Is this like the X and Y? Guys, are the libraries in C# that can solve this? This was surprise. I was surprised by Z3 in Python today. Yeah. Okay. So you say x times y here minus x times. Okay. I mean, I can plug this in, but that still doesn't make me understand it. So let's see. So basically this would mean like 94 times 5400 minus 34 divided by 94 times 67 in this case, minus 34 times 22. Did I miss something? Here? Wait. Nick, do you want the formulas? Well, yeah, but it's the first. So you do times 8400 here. Oh, wait. This one gives 4. Okay. So how do you call this? Yeah, I recognize the value from earlier. The thing is just I'm trying to figure out what is happening. Like you cross them, then take the difference and you divide that by this, but why? Let's see, and I rearrange. As a result of isolating count I, I'm replacing it with the second equation. Yeah. But this is just something that I've never been taught, so it's very foreign to me. Smap says it's what you end up with when you apply algebra to the initial equation. Yeah, I understand what you guys are saying. It's just like, for me, I need to understand this more to be able to work with it instead of just randomly just putting it in and like, hey, I solved it. But yeah. because even now to transform this to do the other thing, I would, let me just first codify this. I'm sure there must be Wikipedia articles about, yeah, sure. Martin says, that's why I suggested paint, maybe plot it in the chart for smaller numbers. Yeah, I will probably not do that on stream though. So let's see, long. Yeah, Wolfram is nice to visualize stuff. Not on stream, yeah. Search YouTube for how to solve linear equation system and watch one of the tutorials. That must be done. Yeah, I'm sure. I'll take the recommendation and look at that. Let's just put this function in right now. So it would be button A. It's I can actually just. It's easier if I take it like this. Button A dot X times price dot Y minus button A dot Y times price dot X divided by and this, yeah, okay. This one is button A dot X times B dot Y minus button A dot Y times button B dot X. Okay. How do I even call this? Was this 40? Was this for B? A80 B40. So this solves B. So if you call the same here, just let me test to see if that works. Where B is solve B, and I need to have, let me just put it like this. Boom, 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 boom. This is also not okay. So var B is solve B config dot button A, config dot button B, config dot price. So would A be if I cross these? Doesn't that matter? Yeah, okay. So how would I name this? Like this relative to this to find this. It's interesting. Linear equation system, but how would you call like these three values? That's a name, yeah. see, xy maybe. A, B, and C are coefficients. Okay, these are known variables you put in. I don't know if they have special name. X and Y maybe. There are points, you build vectors from 0, 0 to A and from price to B. That's why I mentioned earlier the naming helped me. Yeah, but like you have some recollection of something that you've been taught earlier. This is just new for me. So let's call this solve linear equation system, and I assume you can plug in more here and then I'll still be lost, but for now you can call this A, B, C. I will still call this solve B. AX, BX, CX, AI, BY, CY, okay. So you'd call this, okay. By using answer, you can then multiply by point to find the point of intersection. Yeah, that this part here. So we would have far result, okay. I need to do it actually. Wait a second. Didn't it say that it could no longer solve? It's only possible to win a prize in the second and fourth claw. Then why does it give me answer for all of them? One small step to take, filter out invalid answers. Because the math doesn't add up. Never mind. No, wait. None of them are correct. Let's see, what am I doing wrong? You only need integer solution if solve A or solve B give float is wrong. Yeah, sure, but I can match that against the output here, right? Because it's cost here. This needs to be equal to the price X and Y. My previous one did the checking, like the solve did the checking. So this is the old way of doing it. I need to do if answer dot A times cost plus answer.b times b cost equals to price dot oh wait, no, I need to do the times config dot button a dot x equals price dot x and answer dot b times config dot button, no, answer dot a times config dot button a dot y equals price dot y there is some checking to do. The check is missing, but yeah, I'm doing that right now. Why is it complaining? Else cannot start a state. Ah, yeah, okay. This becomes the else. Just else. Okay, let's see. Could not solve, could not solve, could not solve, could not solve. Great. What is happening? I believe you need to use floating point data type for intermediate results if the formula, or else you lose information. Okay. Floating point imprecision. You need to sum AX and BX in the check, not separately. What? But it returns the amount of A and B's, so I then do that separately, right? Oh yeah, I need to combine them. Yep. Took a bit for that one to drop. Thank you. Oh man. Yeah, that was really stupid of me. Thank you for the save, logron 1. Like this. Let's try that again. AY, BY. Do I have these crossed? Yeah, I have these crossed because my solve does. Yeah, this is my bad. Because it gives B and then A, but I treat them the other way around. Glad I figured that out, so now it should be correct. Haha, okay. Sorry. Oh, but it figured out another one? How is that possible? Didn't it say? Oh no, the second and the fourth. Okay. Okay. Jesus Christ. Run it on the first part to see if it's correct. Since you know the answer. Yeah, I can do that. I would be bold and try the full input. Sure. Do I even have the old way of doing the solve still there? I don't even have the solve anymore, so. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, P1, no, answer P1. Then I can do the same here. The integer division used here might give answers that fit because of round but are not actually correct. Okay. And then answer P2. But for P1 we need config.price. Going a bit of a mess, but I'll fix it later. $280, $200. So yeah, the old one also works, and I think it will be fine to run the real one. Where did I put expected result P2? Ah, was that incorrect? P2 is 0. Ah, I need to do P2. Could not solve the machine, sadly. I broke something with adding this. How is it possible that it worked when I had it here before, but not now? This one isn't changed, right? So the first one doesn't work, which is fine. The second one should work, but it said it doesn't. How is that possible? Ah, because I have P1 here and not P2. Damn it, I'm an idiot. That's the downside of copy pasting stuff. Mea culpa. I thought I'd quickly just add in the first one so that I could see that they both work. And then result, you break the other one. So now it works. Longer says, I meant the solution might also work for the check, but it might not give the minimum tokens maybe. I'm not actually sure. Okay. It's also very easy to do with this equation. Yeah. So let's see, what did it give me for part 2? Did I actually write part 2? No. So let's do the same logic here. It's basically the stuff that I had here. Did I alter the machine configs for part 2? No, okay. So I basically need to do the same here. Nightmare says, have a good feeling. Yeah. I got a feeling. Boom, 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 boom. So then you get this. I should make a helper for this, but it's fine. P2 like this config, blah blah blah. P2 plus equals this. Yes, sure. And I should not write them all out, but this seems to be the value. Did I reset P2? Yeah, okay. So yeah, okay. Credits go to everybody in the chat, not me today. So thanks for the assist. Well, a little bit more than an assist. It was more like a Twitch codes. But yeah. Let's do long. X. And I can do point long, right? Point long. Calc. And this can be long A, long B. And then we do point long button A, point long button B. And then I can just do like A times button A dot X plus B times button B dot X. And this becomes A times button A dot Y plus B times button B dot Y. So I can do point long destination. This one becomes answer P2. No, this becomes button config button A, button B. Come on. Like this. And then I can just check answer.x, no, destination.x equals price.x and destination.y equals y. So at least that makes this check a bit more readable. Should still run. Should give the same answer. That's a bit better. Answer P2. I'll just name it combine buttons and put this somewhere up top here. That will make all of this a bit more readable. Config. Something like this. I could probably make overloads that it accepts this combination type and the config type so that it becomes a lot smaller even. So you could do something like and then you do it like this, point long price config, and then you can do combine buttons answer.a answer b config button a config button b. So now you can just pass in those two. So you can do destination is combine buttons answer p1. Config, come on, config. Let's see, thought today's problem was fun, haven't done math problem for a while. Yeah, I wish I could say the same. It was really frustrating for me because I'm just not familiar with the material, sadly, but I had help from a lot of kind people in chat, so thanks for that. It's really appreciated. This was a tangent that I didn't need to go on to, same as this. That was just testing. So the equation then becomes could I not do dest equals config.price? Because this is a point long, I can just make sure that boom. Does the equality work like that for a record? Let's see. Yep. It works like that, so that is nice. So that makes the check even quicker. So you can just say if combinations answer P2 equals config is price. Boom. Yeah, that reads a bit better now. Boom, 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 boom. This one still uses the old one, so that's not bad. So this one becomes Okay. So at least we cleaned it up a bit. I think we've looked at enough of my code. We should probably take a look at what some of you people have done. If you're new, I always invite people to post their solution to the Discord. If you want, feel free to share your code there. And let's look at everything that people did today. Oh yeah, and there's a video of my snoring dog. Let's see. Was this the first one? Day 13? Day 13, day 13, okay. SMAP was the first one. Okay, let's see. Make huge. Try solve cost. Okay. So you have like combination properties that do part of the math, and then you translate them into terms that are like common in the way to solve it, so that you just get these, and they will be easy to read for anybody that knows the actual math. So I really like the way you set this up. Div-rem, okay. Okay, so this is like the final check. I like div-rem. What does it do? I'm not familiar with it. Is it something you wrote or no? Math.div-rem. Quotient for two numbers also returns a remainder as an output parameter. Okay. Nice. It's probably very efficient to. There's probably like CPU instructions that makes that very optimal to code, or very optimal to use like that. Nice. So this prevents you from having to check the end result. If I use mod, I would have to recalculate again. Yeah, 2 flies with 1 stone. Nice. I like it. It reads very nice today. And also like, yeah, I do that too. I really like that in C# that you can just inject these underscores to make numbers more readable. And like the 1000 separator makes sense, but also for some like hard-coded numbers, sometimes it makes sense to do it in pairs of 4, or yeah, it's nice. For binary, for instance, you all usually block them in groups of 4. So it's nice that you can just do that, and it doesn't matter. G12345 says, anyway, I need to go and make dinner, have fun. Yeah, thanks for stopping by, thanks for chatting and saying hello. I hope I wasn't too horrible, because yeah, there wasn't a lot of coding by me today. It was just struggling to find the solution. So not my best form, but I still hope you had a bit of fun. So enjoy your dinner. Let's see, clone machine, sealed record button, dxx, yep. Now this is the parsing. This can also be interesting. Y plus, you skip that out. You do a substring. Okay. I thought it was clever with my regex that. Yeah, I mean, if it works, it works. I thought that was clever that I noticed that like it's x plus and x equals, so that I could just easily pull them out with the regex. But yeah, if it's fixed format, it might even be faster. Let's see. Yeah, I really like your solution today, SMAP. Extra bonus points. Let's see. Amarte says more of exercise and parsing, as the solution itself takes no time at all. Yeah, but you're really strong with this stuff. I remember like last year, I mentioned it before with the like the crossing in time in 3D space, and you were great there as well. And I was lost there too. So yeah, I expect a lot, Amate. At the end of the file, you'll find other ways of parsing. There are iterations of parsing over the input, all slower than this. Yeah, no worries. Credit where credit is due, right? Boom, 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 boom. Is there a reason why you don't nest like after the first if and then just do this for the second? So that you don't have to recheck the B? Not that it matters a lot, but like once you determine that it's a B, you filter down to these two cases. So that means that you wouldn't have to do this again. Smap says, last year, time I used any of this math was at university, I guess before most of you were born. Nineberry says, last year's puzzle with stones crashing was also... Yeah, that was the one that I was talking about. Amata says, this is YOLO parsing, format must be correct. Okay. Oh, my chat window is complaining, like connecting to chat, so... Is there a hiccup on the internet or just... let's see. And I didn't want to nest ifs, but you're right, one last if. Nah, okay. No worries. Yeah, the rest is very straightforward. Boom, 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 boom. Parse games. Okay, that's it. Sure. Let's see. Step 1, time part. Okay. How do I read this? Library says, I wouldn't use this kind of parsing in production code, but for puzzles is okay. Yeah, sure. Look at the comment. Sorry. Small speed improvement using step 1.no vector underscore no vector to skip buffering and just solve games as we parse them. So part 2 now takes 9 microseconds before, and part 1 is still faster from 212 down to 180 and 190 microseconds. Total save of 30 microseconds there. Steve will be impressed, I can tell you already. But that's still, I don't understand this part. Oh, because you don't actually do this. Wait, what? No, let me read it again. Skip buffering, just solve games as we parse them. So, but the return would exit this function, which means this never gets executed, right? Or is this also like the enumerable kind of thing? Let me just read this and see if I can do this. I don't actually do step 1, just call underscore no vector 1. So yeah, the original code is not executed, just left in there. Okay, sure. So we have a single game object here, okay? So we run till we find a just a new line. Solve 32, solve 64, part 2 more. Okay. Library says, I looked at it, the actual code is in the header file. Okay. those familiar equations again. Let's see, Martin says, and I do calculations as I parse them. I don't put them in vector, meaning no memory operations to store all the games. Nice. Yeah, this is basically the same there. Okay, so just you already do the calculation here. You do the end result or 0. Makes sense. And this one because it's faster for part 1, I assume. Nice. Let's see, new version. This was all that part. Let's see what Luke did. No, but I was preferring to use AVX maybe tomorrow. Ah, okay. I see some Steve influence there. Let's see. P1, read machines. Okay, where's read machines? Split the new lines, read L. If it starts with button A, starts with button B. Okay. And I just... So does he reparse the string for part 2? I guess. And this is also like the new feature, right? Yeah. I really need to update to .NET 9. I tried to do this earlier today, but it won't allow me. So I need to update something. Cheapest. Okay. Let's look at what it does. For each machine, calculate options. Okay. This is basically the brute force approach, right? Just try the combos. And here we have the linear. Okay. So I was probably doing a bit of overkill with my priority queue for part 1, but yeah, that's fine. In C# featuring Python. This was the first hard day for me this year, making things more difficult than necessary. First I implemented part 1 using a brute force attempt. Easy but unnecessary. I'm not realizing given the problem is just 2x2 linear equation system. Sure, reason into the Diophantine equations. Okay. To generate a Python script and execute that from my C# code, so I cobbled together the Python script that uses the Diophantine. Okay. Is this Chinese remainder theorem? Or is it CRT something else? This code works. Okay. For the sample input in part 1, but failed miserably for both the full input as well as the sample input in part 2. So after a lot of reading and thinking, I finally realized with just
dealing with yeah, okay, could have written code in C# to calculate the values after manually solving the system. But since I already had Python in the game, I was feeling lazy. I adapted the Python script to use a simple solve. I once, this reminds me, I once like, there's like this crypto chain called Wax where you can do like smart contracts and stuff, and they have um, a wallet that is an Electron app, which is basically JavaScript. And I was trying to figure out how secure it was, so I did like memory dump of the system to see how hard it would be to extract the private keys out of the memory. Um, and while doing, I realized that they were using like a non-standard way of doing triple dash encryption, which uses some weird JavaScript library that had a bug in it that allowed something that is really hard to reproduce outside of it. And it was like, okay, am I really going to re-implement this crypto library in C# just to do that? And I was like, I found a way to run that actually JavaScript in a sort in like a VM inside of C#. And there were multiple ways that you could do that, but there was only one that supported like all the new ECMA script stuff. So yeah. Let's see. Smap UK says giving up in C# and solving it in another language. And Nimber says there's a reason people use Python for numeric applications. These libraries there are really powerful and easy to use. Oh yeah, sure, but I'm pretty sure that you can find anything that you can do in Python, you can probably find it in another language as well. It just like the barrier to entry in Python is really simple with like getting stuff done quickly, and there are a few good, really good base libraries that lets you get up and going very quickly. Like if you see the DP problems, like people just do iter-tools.cache and you just do one statement and you don't even have to think about it, and it will be smart. So stuff like that is pretty cool. So yeah, let's see. Replace line endings. Marty says SmapBK went the opposite way when trying to create a downloader for live inputs on C++. I didn't want to do work, so I just made one in C#. Last year's Nick's solution and called it from C++. Yeah, you can just make it an executable that runs. Did you see the video that I made on doing that the hard way? Because like to do the image downloading, you need to have the cookie. And a few years ago, I think 2 or 3 years ago, I wrote something that would create a shadow volume copy of your processor, the data for the processor, because you can't access the cookie file while Chrome is running. And I wanted to do it while the processor was running without having to kill it. So I use a shadow volume copy to create a copy of that file. And then there's like a protected data API from Microsoft that encrypts it. But this year when I tried to grab the cookie again, it didn't work, and they like really beefed up their security. So there's also lots and lots of things that I had to do just to get there. So I built like a WebSocket server with SignalR. I created a secondary stage that acts like a small piece of malware basically, because it lets you do stuff like, okay, get me read a file, decrypt using your current logged in user, stuff like that, because that's the way they set it up. You need to have like the process as your user, you need to run like that to decrypt a part, then you need to have an application running at system level to decrypt another part. It was a whole rabbit hole, but pretty fun and cool to do. But yeah, I've been debating if I need to make like an in-depth video to show how every piece works, but that's also like giving partially possibly dangerous tools to people that might not, should not have that. So that's the debate I'm having. The same for like the decryption of private keys in applications. Like I wrote it as a proof of concept. Just to see how secure everything was, like how it was encrypted at rest, and or when it's unlocked, and how feasible it would be, like if you run something that they could steal your stuff, and when you like hijack your own stuff that should be secure, it's like, okay, it's pretty cool, like getting to that point.
and you wanted to talk about it and show all the cool stuff that you did. That's like the first instinct. But then it's like, okay, depending on how much info I give out, that could mean that somebody uses this to steal crypto from lots of people. So yeah, then it's like, okay, never mind. I'll just continue with the next thing. But yeah, sorry for that tangent. Let's look more at this code. Whose repository is this? This was 9berries, right? Yeah. Let's see. Python helper dot solve claw machine with Python. Claw machine, string input. Oh wow, that's even more nasty. Just pull out all the numbers and then use that. And that also works. I think you have SMAP beat for like dirty there. Nice. Python helper. Those are the machines. String code is create Python script. Run Python script. Okay. Create Python script. Append line from. Let's see. Find cheapest win. Ah, yeah. Okay. So basically, just really building out the code output there. Py.gil. Okay. So this is basically just a runner for Python. But yeah, I mean, if it works, it works. But yeah, you could probably just copy paste this into, you could actually just copy this. Because this is the same equation. But it's still a fun flex to just launch a different language, and it's a nice thing that to be able to do. Says no, it's the raw form. I would have to transform it first. What do you mean? You plug these in right here, right? The solve function does the solving this equation solve. Okay. But in this case, like literally these two things, it's just a division. Or am I crazy? Oh no, but A and B are unknown here. Okay. So if I go back to like the, I get what you see now. What you're saying now. So A and B are just, or not, wait. Yeah, AX. Oh, okay. It's not exactly the same. Just looks very familiar. My bad. Yeah, I think that's all the submissions, right? Or did I? No, there were more. Nope. Day 12. Finally got it. I decided not to count for corners or work perimeter to find sides, but join each guarded tile fence to see if those are straight lines. So finding guarding fences and looking for all sides is sort of the same process. Okay. Spam says, so it's the same A and B, but in two slightly different equations. Yeah. Look at other attempts in my repo. Okay. Now I'm intrigued.
worked, but not needed anymore after solving part 2. Sure. You also use the priority queue. Yay, great minds. You even have the same way of initializing it. Yeah, this looks oddly familiar. Do you have a cache check here? Or... scene combos. Yep. Was the thing that I forgot. First attempt for part 2 was trying to use diaphantine and CRT in Python. This astonishingly worked for part 1 on the simple input, but then failed for both the sample input modified for part 2 and the full input part 1. Okay. I think I still have like no, that's a different kind of CRT. I think. Yeah. I would be happy if someone could explain why this works for the sample but not anything else. Hey Luke, welcome. I struggle because I'm not familiar with linear equations, so chat had to help me get through today. So in the end, let me see, day 13. So this one, they had to spoon feed me this, and from there I made this and some helpers, and then it's just calling the function and then you're there. So I did part 1 in a priority queue approach here, where I use way more code probably than need be, because looking at it here, this looks so much, which one was it here? This is the same, just written neater. Yeah, and now we're just looking at everybody's code. So it was really rough for me today, especially part 2, but yeah, chat helped me through it, so thanks for that. So this was about Chinese remainder theorem and why it worked. And Bruce also sent him some Python. We'll look at it after. Let's see. I noticed that this is a simple 2x2 linear equation system. I could have solved the equation system as well. Yeah, okay. Okay. I'll take Bruce's and then check the day 12. Let's see. Oh, this is small. Tuple.map, find all. Minus plus, not really. Why the regex in this way? It finds 2 numbers in the line. Oh, okay. It makes a tuple format. Okay. And this is something that I really like from Python, that you can just, the way you can easily destructure things. I really love it. They added more of that to C#. But yeah, because just being able to do this is just so nice. You see me struggle with my as to get a little bit close to that, but yeah, it just turns into messy code for me. So yeah, and this is just a linear equation again. Nice. Very, very short. Smap says, okay. Who's claw machine? Claw machine. Try cheapest cost. Maximum pushing pay. Library says C# is very close now with those syntaxes, and they get closer with each new version. Yeah, I mean, I really like all the stuff. Like for every C# release, there's usually something that I really like about it. I'm just a bit slow to adapt something, but I'm trying to not use toList anymore and instead use the new notation when possible. Coast. Okay. And after this one, I'm going to go raid somebody and then go put the kids to bed because it's getting late. Luke says I use record and the function inside of. Yeah, I saw. I commented on it as well. So watch the VOD. I only need 2,999 watch hours more. Let's see. This was part 2 for the the flood fill. So flood fill, recurse. Okay. Ray March. I know the term, but what does it mean? I can't remember. Was that? No. Recurse version just a tad bit faster. Well, what is the definition of Ray March? Does it? It will also save region areas. Okay, ID regions. Ray March define fences. Count all regions. You can probably jump to this, right? Here. Amartya says it's a fancy term for stepping over some space in discrete steps and see what's there. Okay. And my brain is turning to mush, I think. What I do is scan the map, check for changes, ID change, and discover fences that way. Okay. I'm gonna have to wrap it up just to make sure that my kids aren't asleep by the time that I get home. So I'm gonna do the same that I did previously. I'm going to stop the music. Let's see who is streaming Advent of Code and go quickly rate them. And for now, thanks everybody for watching, keeping me company and helping. It's really appreciated. Do you have a preference on who to raid and go say hello to? We haven't done Dylan yet. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Hexadecimal. Shall we try Dylan Batty? Let's see. So annoying. Get well, or better yet, hope you didn't catch anything in the first place. Yeah, it feels like I'm coming down with something, but it's not horrible yet. So I think we'll rate this person. I want to always quickly hear like what they're saying. I really hate when you want to rate somebody that they show you ads. Let's see. What are they doing? Rockstar. So are they trying to do it in the Rockstar language? Looks like it. I'm gonna just do a Hail Mary and he finished something he's doing in Rockstar his own language.
Weird. Really weird.
Let's just go rate him anyways.
Because it looks like.
So, thank you and bye bye.
Code, which is doing just a string comparison, is giving different results on Windows and WebAssembly, which is possible.